Okay. So what we want to achieve, provide software test training to all aspiring learners, foundation for new learning on advanced topics in manual and other types of testing, instill confidence in participants to switch careers or progress in IT. What do you see here? Something like an automobile factory.
Yes.
Okay. So you see something like a factory here. Now, let us understand how the industrial activities can be classified. Okay, this is a very important topic. Okay, you might be wondering, I came in for a software testing training program, and what is this industry we are discussing? Don't worry about it. You will be able to connect the dotted lines at the end of the session on why this topic was important. Okay, the industrial activity can be considered into many categories. Okay, one is primary. Primary means these industries extract raw materials directly from the earth or sea. This is a primary industry. Next, secondary industries. Secondary industries process what the primary industry extracts from earth or sea. Example, iron ore, gold, right? You could have magnesium. You would have studied all these things in your school and college days. You could be having sand mining. You could be having fishing industry, shipping industry. So these are primary and secondary activities. So a shipping is not a primary activity. You don't go and you don't dig ship out of the earth, right? So just be very careful about the differentiation. Industrial activity can be classified into primary, secondary, and tertiary. So what does tertiary industry mean? These industries provide a service. Take for example, you are having your a Jio, Reliance, Fresh. That is one classic example of tertiary. You are having D-Mart, you are having V-Mart. So many marts are there. Previously, there was something called Food World, right? Or it could be your local shop where you go and purchase things. Okay, the industrial activity can be classified into primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary extracts from the nature, secondary processes whatever we have extracted, tertiary is a way of selling it to the end users. This could be one simple definition of understanding how industrial activities can be classified. Okay, what is quaternary industry? Have you heard this term before, quaternary? Any idea? All right, quaternary industry. What do you see here? Lab, something like a lab. You are seeing somebody doing some experiment, right? Quaternary industry incorporate high degree of research and technology in their processes and employ highly qualified people. You are having Indian Institute of Science. That is quaternary. You are having some research lab. You are having a semiconductor research. Okay. You are having some other microchip research company. You are having a research to increase the speed of automobile. So these research and development departments are called as quaternary. Are you all there with me? I know if you have attended software testing training in any other institute, they would directly jump and talk about something related to testing without the fundamentals. So we are a set of professionals, so we deal with learning in a different approach. Okay, one of you can keep saying yes, otherwise, because I'm not able to see the user list. Otherwise, if I'm disconnected also, I'll not know.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. So these industries incorporate a high degree of research and technology in their processes and employ high qualified people. Okay, this is called quaternary industry. Okay, now going to the actual connection with software industry and this. Biotechnology and computer programming are examples of quaternary industries. Clear? Now, every industry can be described as a system. What is the means of system? Application, college admission system, railway ticket booking system. That means there is a predefined set of activities that needs to be done as part of the system. Clear to everybody? So an industry is called as a system because why? Something is here, something is here, something is here. Look at this thread. Carefully observe the thread. Inputs. What is this industry? This industry is cake making process. For cake, you need inputs, right? You might need physical input, you might need human input, and you need economic input. That means you need money to bring materials. You need money for renting a space where you can prepare cake. You need to pay the electricity bill. You need to pay the water bill. So these are all the economic activities or economic inputs. So the inputs are physical, human, economic. Process. You might put first sugar. You might heat the sugar. You might put the dough. You could do via oven, whatever, microwave, whatever you want to say. Okay. These are the activities that are involved. So whatever the activities that is involved in making the inputs is called processes. Very simple, right? You have seen in day-to-day life. That's why I've taken all day-to-day examples so that you can connect easily to software industry. Okay, next, output. So you take the ingredient, you process it, then you get the output. In this example, we are looking at cake making process. Input, process, output. I'll just give 30 seconds pause, think about it. Any questions, please ask me. Very simple daily life example. You would have seen input to prepare coffee, process, heat the milk, heat the decoction, prepare decoction, heat the decoction, add the sugar. The output is coffee. Very, very simple concept. Understand. Always think about this: input, process, output. Input, process, output. Record that in your mind. It will be helpful to you in the future. Okay. For a company to be profitable, the value of the outputs must be greater than the cost of the input. Suppose if they are spending 100 rupees to buy whatever the ingredients that is required to manufacture cake or prepare cake, then the processing, you need human, right? We went to the previous example, right? What all you need? You need human, economic, and then what else? Physical, right? Physical, human, economic. These are the activities that are involved. So for a company to be profitable, the value of the outputs must be greater than the cost of the inputs. That means this cost plus this cost should be less when you sell this. Suppose you are taking 50 rupees for ingredients, 20 rupees for processing, that is 50 plus 20, 70, and anything above 70 rupees is your profit for the cake. Clear to everybody? Now coming to, slowly I'm taking into software world, okay? I'm coming out of the bakery into the software world. What is hardware and software? Hardware is any element of a computer that is physical. This includes things like monitor, keyboard, devices, microchips, hard drives. I've put a picture here so that you will understand what is hardware. Clear? Software is anything that tells hardware what to do and how to do it. In your mobile, you will be always saying, right, I want to upgrade my operating system in my mobile. I want to upgrade my Android version. I want to upgrade an app. So when you say you're upgrading an app, physically you are not adding anything to your mobile. There are certain soft components, that is instructions written in computer languages that you want to download to your mobile. That is what it means by saying software installation or software upgrade. Okay, what are the different types of software? Here there are many softwares, just put a few of them for you to understand the session. Okay, like MS Word, PPT, Zoom is a software. Okay, MS Excel. Okay, all these are software. So very clear about hardware and software. I'll give you an example. Okay, I was working for one of the clients. There they had mentioned that we will do testing. Okay, one day they said, okay, Srinivas Prasad, please come here. The cable person has come. Go to the 20th floor and please go and test it. I was shocked. I said, that is not my job. Then they said, please go and check your contract. They mentioned it as testing. That was the time I realized that we should not assume that everybody understands everything. Then I had to fight with the customer to tell that that is not my job to do it, because I was a software tester. Whatever the tasks that they were giving required hardware tester. So now you tell me whether it is important for you to understand what is difference between hardware and software. Point number one. Second, this training is not about hardware testing. I am not going to show you how to fix a chip. I'm not going to show you how to fix hard disk. I am going to show you how to do software testing and how to achieve quality. Is it clear to everybody? Because see, sometimes when you see hardware, software, everything is very simple. How to make cake, input, process, output is very simple. But when you take same input, process, output, and when I say apply it on your banking application, then you will black out. So make sure get into the granularity of the concept. Input, process, output. Here we are talking about hardware and software. When you're talking to somebody, when you're attending interview, right? If you go and say, I'm a tester, some BE or Bharat Electronics will call you and say, write the test. After you go to the test, you will understand that this is not software testing, it is hardware testing. So be very, very specific and very clear about your knowledge and your roles and responsibilities. You have to say that I know software testing. We will refine this statement as we move towards our workshop in further sessions. Okay. Software is anything that tells hardware what to do and how to do it, including computer programs. Now coming slowly, I'm entering. Okay. Don't miss me. Don't miss me out. Web applications. All of you have logged into Amazon.com, CNN.com, NDTV.com, TimesOfIndia.com, so many newspaper.com. Correct? Canon. All of you know the Canon cameras. Right? Now, I have put two names, Kismet and Jellybilly. Okay, I just intentionally put this Kismet because this is one of the best websites last year. Okay, this won an award for being the best website. That's why I thought all of us must look into this website so that you get a feel of what is the meaning of a best website. Okay, I'm opening the site. Let me know if you're able to see it. Okay, this one award for being the best website. See here, I think it's a restaurant somewhere in USA with which prepares Indian dishes. Okay, look at this website. I'm just scrolling down. You can also open a local, maybe after the class, after the workshop. And when you click here, it will take you to other pages or single page. See, if you click here, it may go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right? So these, whatever you're seeing here is called a web application. I'll also open the other application. It's a very beautiful site which I used to work on this application earlier. My team created the basic, they had a very static page and they made it very dynamic page. This is a chocolate website. This company sells chocolate. Okay. See, very impressive, right? Images, website. See, tempting by design. They are designing different types of candies and chocolate. I'm slowly scrolling down. Okay. English, Arabic, two languages are there. Okay. Some entertainment here. See, all these things have been done using your chocolates. Maybe you can call it in the local terms, gems, maybe gems. It looks like gems to me, but I don't know what they've used here. Okay. Okay. Harry Potter. Okay, fine. So why did we come here to this website? Because I wanted you to get a feel of what is website. All of you know website, but beyond that, you might not have explored, nothing wrong in it. Okay. So clear? So we went to a web application. We know website. Now, what is the term I'm using here? Web applications. Note the difference, okay? So far, before the class, before the workshop, all you knew was website. Now we are talking here about web applications. Okay. one step further into the software industry, software testing, front end versus back end. Can anybody explain what you're seeing here?
Front end, he is taking the orders from the different customers, and back end, they are preparing the orders actually.
Okay,
Is what-
okay. So what you're seeing on the slide is two pictures. One is a person is taking an order potentially in a hotel or a restaurant, right? And then the other picture shows the activities that is happening in the background in terms of cooking, cutting vegetables, then washing the dishes, and other things. So in simple term, this is front end, the person taking the order, the user, these are all users, you and me are here, right? We are the users of Kismet.com, we are the users of Jelly Belly, we are the users of CNN.com, right? That is the front end. This is the back end. But for a person who is sitting here, are you able to see what is happening inside the kitchen? No, right? It's a black box. Black box means you're not able to see. Right? We don't get to access the kitchen in most places, right? If you go to a restaurant, they will not allow you inside the kitchen, what they're doing and kind of stuff. So that's a black box. That means you don't know what is happening inside the kitchen. Now coming, what is this? We are discussing about restaurant. Yeah, now let's come back. Okay. Take 1 minute time, understand this diagram. Very, very important diagram. Thousands of testers are getting trained every day in the institutes. But if you ask them, can you tell me the layer of a web application? They will not be able to explain. Okay, take a minute, read each one of them. There are 5 points here. Read it, let me know. Okay. So front end, back end. Web browser requests a web page. So what is it? This is the browser, right? This is a browser. I've opened a new tab. This is the browser. When you type the URL, right? qatechlabs.org. What is happening is when you press the enter key, the request is going through the internet to web server. Then something happens. The web server instructs application server to process the page. So there are two parts, right? Request, internet, web server, application server. What is the web server saying? The web server is saying, application server, boss, go fetch this information from your records, from your database, from your wherever it is stored. Bring the information. Once it is brought, the application server processes the page and generates output. And then once the output is given back to the web server sends the output to the browser through the internet. Web browser request to web server will ask application server to prepare the dish. Once the dish is prepared, it will hand over to the web server. The web server through internet will deliver to the browser. Clear to everybody? Front end versus back end. So whatever you are seeing in the web browser is front end. Whatever you are seeing in this request, okay, we don't call it as middle end, we call it as middleware. This is back end. Okay, front end, okay, middleware, back end. Clear to everybody? Any doubts here? Any doubts? Most important slide. We are putting the foundation of your learning. So please understand this very carefully. Web browser through internet sends a request to the web server. Web server will ask the application server. The application server will send the results to the web server, which again sends it back through internet to the front end. Front end versus back end. Now we are talking about software testing, quality assurance. So are you seeing 2 apples of good quality, or are you seeing 0 apples of good quality, or what are you seeing here? Can anybody answer me this question?
One with good and one with bad quality.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Anything you want to say? Very easy to identify, right? Good quality, bad quality. Good quality, bad quality. Now tell me, this application is good or bad? If I go to our Candy site, right? Tell me whether this website is good or bad. How will you know? Is it good or bad? Will you be able to tell it upfront just seeing this? You need to identify, right? When you go to a restaurant, one is how the dish or the item is presented to you. This other part is the taste of the dish, right? Now you are seeing a very beautiful website. Yeah, very good. But just by seeing, are you able to tell whether this website is good or bad? Are you able to tell whether this website is good or bad? Yes, very good images, very good color combination kind of stuff. But after that, if I click it, whether it will work or not, will you be able to see and tell? No, right? We have to go perform actions on the website, then you will be able to tell whether the site is good or not. Going back to our dish example, unless you taste it, you will not be able to tell whether the dish or whatever the item is good or bad. Agree? Agree?
Yes. Basically, we can come to conclusion by testing that application only.
So what is the conclusion here? The conclusion here is that you will not be able to conclude the quality just by seeing it. This apple may be bad, but it may be very tasty when compared to this. This may be looking good because they have put some chemical. We don't know. You're getting it, right? Okay. Let's go to the next one. What is quality assurance? So, for one of you, this is good quality. For one more person, this is good quality. Both of them are seeing the same thing. What do you think about it? So, who is, I think you would have heard this proverb, right? The beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Proverb, I'm pretty sure in your college days, you would have heard. Good. So, now going to the definition of quality assurance. quality assurance is customer focus, customer satisfaction. I am satisfied eating this apple, so I will say this is very good quality. Somebody is seeing this, he is eating it, but it is not tasty. So he will say this is not good quality. Already the perception or viewpoint of quality has changed, right? When you saw, you thought this is good quality. But when you eat, this is good quality and this is bad quality. So going back to this definition, quality assurance viewpoints, customer satisfaction is one of the aspects of quality assurance. So many times we have heard, right? There are a lot of cheap rate materials available in the market, but still people buy it because they are happy with the quality. Somebody is happy with the Maruti Alto, somebody is happy with Santro, somebody is happy with Baleno car, somebody is happy with Honda City. So the Honda City person may not be happy with Alto. The Alto person is happy with his car, right? So for him, quality is enough. I go to an exam and I want to pass the exam. And if I pass the exam, I'm happy. You go to exam and you want to score 90%, you score 85, you are not happy. So the quality or your happiness index in the case of exam is based on what you wanted to achieve versus what you have achieved. What you wanted to achieve versus what you have achieved. So quality assurance is depending on customer satisfaction and functional and performance requirement. Are you able to switch on the AC? Are you able to put on a music system? Is the car able to go smoothly when there is up or uphill? Right? When you take a auto or carriage auto, you would have seen how it struggles, right? So there the performance is not good when the carriage auto is fully loaded. So what will happen? You will go for a bigger lorry or bigger version of the carriage goods carrier. So second viewpoint, see, this is an interview question, okay? What is quality assurance? He will ask you in the interview. You have to say quality assurance is dependent on customer focus and customer satisfaction. Okay, if it meets the functional and performance requirement of the user, then the quality is good. First question, they will ask you what is quality? What is quality? Okay, the next one is all ease of learning and use. So two kinds of quality: quality of design, quality of conformance. How many of you have seen the news that most of the cars in India do not meet the crash test? Right? You would have seen, right? So many vehicles failed. When they go and do a crash test, I don't know how many of you know, crash test is performed on the cars to make sure that they understand that the automobile is sturdy enough. Okay, quality of design, quality of conformance. What is conformance? Conformance is they have defined some rules. Are you following all the rules that is defined for an automobile? Getting it? Any doubts? Can I stop here? Any doubts? Please ask me questions. Everybody with me so far? I'll call out the names, okay? Don't feel afraid. Amrita, you understanding till now whatever is being told?
Sorry. Hello.
Amrita, are you able to understand what is being told till now?
Your voice is not clear, sir.
Jennifer, are you clear on what is being explained? Are you able to hear Jennifer, or is it a problem from my side? I don't know. Rajesh, Santosh?
Yeah, you can go. Yeah,
Yes, sir. I can able to hear and I can able to understand the concepts of quality assurance. What you explained is 3 points.
Okay. Santosh, Rajesh,
yeah, understood, sir. Voice is clear.
yeah, Shailaja.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm with the points.
Yeah, you're clear, right? Okay, good. So let's move on. Okay, let me know, Amrita, once you are able to hear me, let me know whether you are able to understand. Otherwise, I
Li-
can repeat.
Like the last point you have explained, like quality of conformance, as it meets the Motor Regulatory Act or not, as it moves with the airbags.
Yeah, quality of conformance is now the vehicle has been told that all vehicles must have seat belts, right? If the seat belt is not there, then it is not conforming to the government rules and regulation. Now, quality of design, you will have seat belt, but whether is it of quality, whether the seat belt you are able to put it properly, because I was sitting in one of the other cars the other day and I was not able to pull the seat belt only. That is quality of design. Yeah, quality of conformance is there. Somebody told put a seat belt, they have put the seat belt. Okay. Next.
So this quality assurance is common for even hardware testing as well as the software testing. It is not particularly to the software testing, right?
Correct. Quality assurance is common for everything because if you take a pen, you need to have quality in pen. If you take a plate, you need to have quality in the plate. You are talking about automobile. You may talk about a food dish. Anything you take, quality is part of it. How you ensure quality is what all about we are discussing. Okay. If you take another example, right? Chair. Somebody would have said create a or design a chair with 3 wheels. They will decide that is quality of conformance. Somebody told 3 wheels, they put the 3 wheels. Now, when I sit on the chair with 3 wheels, whether it will break or not, that is quality of design. Whether it is comfortable for me to sit, that is quality of design. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, what do you see here? Different roles in hospital. You have a doctor, you have a pharmacist, therapist, support team, receptionist, question Q&A, help desk, nurse, doctor, pharmacist, nurse. You're seeing, right? We have different people doing different activities, different roles in hospital. No doubts, right? Very easy, commonly seen. Patient and families, user of the hospital service. Inside the hospital, you have doctor, pharmacist, nurse, support, staff with various responsibilities, medical care, and others. Good. Now coming to software. What are the different roles in IT project? See, when I started my career in IT, nobody told me this. I used to always get confused with every new term that was getting introduced. So let us understand when we say there is a software project team who all are involved in that software project team. Typically, see again, I'm using the word typical because here you might say if there is no pharma inside the hospital, you might not have a pharmacist. Okay, ideally, most of the time you will have these roles because of some reason in that particular company, you may not have. In most companies, you will have this. What are the different roles in an IT project? Now, I'm introducing a new word called IT. I don't know whether all of you observed or not. Okay, IT means information technology. Now, initially when they used to say Wipro, right? When I was studying in my college days, Wipro was manufacturing soap. I used to tell people I'm working for Wipro. And I used to wonder how a BE computer science graduate is working for soap factory. The fact is, Wipro was there in soap, Wipro was there in software, which I did not know properly because that was they had entered into software. And I used to think, hey, Wipro is a soap factory, why they are not, why these people are working there? Now, again, same thing with ITC, right? The moment you say ITC, people will think about cigarettes. But ITC is into hotels. ITC is into your food business. ITC is having so many other businesses other than cigarette. But never say ITC. People will talk cigarette. But the fact is, ITC is into so many other sectors. Now, why am I highlighting this is, when you say, are you in IT? Then you should not get confused and say, I am in software. If somebody will say, are you in software? Then you can also say, I am in IT. Okay. So now, please focus on this IT. Go back to this. IT is an industry. IT industry. Okay. What is written here? Computer programming or examples of IT industry, in this case, quaternary industry. Now, ITES, you will see ITES, IT enabled service. What is IT enabled service? IT enabled service means, suppose if you take an online banking system in an ICICI bank, the activities that happen because of software can be considered as IT enabled service. Another way of looking at is call center, BPO, business process center, medical transcriptioning. All these are IT enabled service. That means based on or using the IT technologies, they support the main business. Now there is a software which is used to check the quantum of cigarettes manufactured in a IT factory, ITC factory. Okay. In the ITC factory, I want to check how many cigarettes are being manufactured every day. Example. Okay, you use a software that is IT enabled. Is it clear? You go to toll booth. Okay, you have that fast track now. In toll booth, toll is being collected using fast track software. So the fast track software can be called as IT enabled service. Is it clear to everybody? See, you have to be very clear about IT, ITES. Without knowing that, you can jump, you will get job, you will run. But if you don't know, or if you don't get into the habit of dissecting and understanding the concepts, when the project work is given also, you will not be able to dissect. I was telling it in the other day in one of the classes, right? You cannot say, I will go to Indian team and I will hit 100 runs. But I am not able to hit 10 runs in my local match. No, that's not the way it will work. If you are able to hit 1000 runs in your local match, the chances are there that you will hit 100 runs in the Indian team match or in IPL tournament. If you say, no, I'm not able to play local match, but I will play in IPL, will you believe that person? Or will anybody believe me if I say that? So why I am highlighting this point is, if you are not able to dissect and understand what is difference between IT and ITES, you cannot tell I will go inside a company, I will understand the project, I will not be able to have I will not be having any doubts. That is very difficult to accept. Okay, you cannot say in the interview, I did not do well in the interview. If you give a job to me, then I will do very good in the job. That people will not accept, right? Because interview is just a small set of activity that is going to happen to evaluate you. Interview is a small set of activities that is done to evaluate your larger potential. Clear? That's why I'm using very carefully, because you're all new in the game. You need to understand different roles in IT project. It's a software project. Building a web application is an IT project. Infosys is an information technology company. Wipro is an information technology company. Wipro is a soap manufacturing company. Yes. Okay, because Wipro is having soap manufacturing also. Wipro is having software also. Wipro will prepare even the manufacture even bulb. Wipro will manufacture lighting equipments. Okay. So in an IT project, you have somebody by name business sponsor. That means he is the one who pays money for the project. Then you will have a team leader. Then business visionary. See, whatever the IT project you are doing should help somebody, right? So he will be the one who will define business, how it will help. Technical coordinator, project manager, specialist role, giving solution, business analyst, solution tester. We are here. Our game is here. Business ambassador. Somebody may be convincing that you should use latest technology like that. Okay. Don't worry about everything here. But this is a general view of what will be there. There could be a coach. There could be somebody who is setting up meetings. Right? So when you have a large team of 200 people, 300 people, there will be one person sitting and setting up meetings, coordinating with different departments and setting up time for workshop and other things. So different roles in IT project. Our game is here, software or solution tester. Food quality. Food quality standards, food safety standards. Voluntary, some mandatory. Focus on quality, composition, process, texture, color, nutrition, purity, weight, analytical methods, food labeling. How you evaluate quality analytically. Focus on safety, contamination, pesticide, additives, clean place for manufacturing. This is safety. This is quality. Both goes hand in hand, right? Quality, safety. Clear to everybody this slide? Food quality. Very easy, right? First of all, the question, what do software testers do? Clear? Test the quality of the application. We saw Jelly Belly, we saw Kismet, we saw CNN, Amazon, Flipkart. When they are building the website or web application, somebody has to test it and certify. The software tester is the one who tests these applications and certifies that the application is good for use. Suppose you are making a payment of 2,000 rupees from your credit card or debit card. If the application is deducting 4,000 rupees, then it becomes a big problem. So a software tester is the one who tests whether 2,000 rupees, if entered, deducts 2,000 only and not 4,000. If somebody enters 2,000 and it deducts 1,000 rupees only, then it's a loss for Amazon, Flipkart, right? We neither want more to be deducted, we neither want less to be deducted. That is what is the job of software tester. Check whether the website has been developed as per the requirement. Identify anything untoward and report in project meeting. Clear to everybody? See, there will be websites, okay? This should be visible only for people from Asia. Okay. If European people are able to see that, it is not helpful to us. So in India, when I open, I want to see in English. If the application is shown in Chinese, then it's a bug. Right? So when you have a website in English, I want it to be shown in English, not in Chinese, not in French. Making sure, don't think it will automatically happen. No, nothing will automatically happen. If Flipkart or Amazon is showing in India in English, that means somebody within the Amazon organization has tested it and certified that if you open the application in India, it will show in English. If you open the same application in Shanghai, it will show in Chinese. That testing would have happened. That is why it is working correctly. So, what is the role of a software tester? Software tester tests the quality of the application, check whether the website has been developed as per the requirement. What is the requirement here? My requirement is if the website is open in India, it should be in English. If the website is opened in France, it should be in French. Identify anything untoward and report in project meeting. Okay, any problem is there? You have to tell the project team, no? Here, you will tell here, you will have a meeting. You will have a meeting where you will tell, I am seeing that when I open the application in India, it is showing in French. Oh, then they will say, oh, that's a problem. Then the solution developer will check. Then they will go fix the problem and ask you to test again. Clear to everybody? What are the different phases of software testing? Requirement analysis, test planning, test case designing and development, test environment setup, test execution, test closure. By heart this interview question. See, first step, what I will suggest is you by heart. Okay. Then you understand. Okay. Then it will be first only if you go depth, then you might stuck up with only one topic. You have to do a balancing between horizontal and vertical learning. What is horizontal learning? Understanding multiple concepts is horizontal learning. Taking one topic and going to the depth is vertical learning. You have to balance between horizontal and vertical. If you don't do this, then what will happen is either you will be stuck with one topic, and when the job opportunity will come, they will ask 5 things. You will say, I know one thing, you will not qualify for the interview. If you know everything, they will call you for the interview, they will ask you 2 questions, you will not be able to answer. So there is no hard-coded rules written on the wall saying do like this. You have to balance one. As soon as you broaden your topics, take each topic, go to the depth of it. Okay, we will look into it. We will look into everything. At the end of these 3 workshops, I can tell you, you can attend a software testing interview with 100% confidence. Now, I'm shifting the gears, right? Application development. Any doubts so far? We will understand each one of this in detail later. Any questions so far? Okay, if all of you are in a situation where you can take a pen and paper, I strongly suggest please take pen and paper and keep it handy. We will have some fun writing something, or you want to use your laptop and use your MS Excel and Word, you can do that also. Anything is okay for you. Okay, at the end of, before we close last 15 minutes, let's do some small activity which will help you become a software tester. Okay, clear to everybody? Okay, application development. Now let's take construction of a house. Okay, what happens in the construction of a house? First you go to an architect, he will plan the house. He will put the paper drawing. He will go to a structural expert. He will do the structural design, then you will submit it to the government for approval. Once the government approves, you start building the house. Okay. So if you take like, if the planning is very good, you are able to tell exactly what you need. Once the house construction starts, there is no change happening in the house construction. Okay. That means whatever inputs you want to give. Now go back, see, I'm connecting back to you here. Inputs, process, output. You give input to the architect. He processes the information, comes up with the house design and structural information. Okay. If you don't give full inputs to him, he will process it, he will decide. Then later you go and change the input. Then this has to be reprocessed. Then you have to. Now first somebody will say, I want sugar-based cake. Input, process, sugar-based cake. But all of a sudden, if they come and say, I don't want a cake made of sugar, what can you do that time? Can you please tell me what will you do? You are a bakery owner. They came, they told, prepare a cake with sugar. Later they are coming and telling, don't prepare the cake with sugar. What is the option available to us? Anybody, any volunteers who want to answer this question? Any volunteers? Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear. Anybody?
Not able to get the question. Sir.
No. See, you are the bakery owner. You're able to hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you are the bakery owner. If somebody is ordering cake, they said, give me a sugar-based cake. Okay. After you start the work, they are coming and telling that I don't want sugar because I am diabetic. I don't want sugar in my cake. What can you do that time? What options do you have?
That depends on where we are in the process, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. So, if you are already near to finishing the cake, okay, then you will not be able to make any changes. Okay, if you are in the early stages, you will be able to make the changes. If you are already finished the processing, also you will not be able to do it. Now go back here. In the waterfall model, requirements defines needed information, function, behavior, performance, and interface. That means all details are available to you on what the application should do, how the website should look, everything is available. Then they will design, they will implement. Implement means they'll sit and code. Okay, this is waterfall model. Take for example, if there is a bridge, right? If there is a spacecraft being designed, earlier what used to happen is they used to go through the waterfall model. You cannot go in the last minute and change, I want to use water instead of fuel to fly the rocket. No, it will not work like that. Right? I'm taking a very extreme example, okay? Because there is a lot of different fuel types that rocket uses. Suddenly you cannot say simple petrol and diesel. Let's take the example of petrol and diesel. Okay. You are designing a rocket for petrol based, and then suddenly they will say you have to design a rocket for diesel based. You cannot change that. The project has to be scrapped. So in the olden days, when I say olden days, don't think 100 years, 10 years back, 15 years back, software industry was not as mature as where it is today. They used to sit, prepare documents, then design, then implement, then release the application. That is waterfall model. Building a bridge, building a house. Okay, so requirements design, implementation, you test it, you install, you maintain it. Okay, what is it? Let's assume you are having a flag post. Okay, flag post means what? Where you put the flag, right? For Independence Day and Republic Day. That's the flag post. You requirements. I need 100 feet flag pole made of iron, and it will be located in the middle of the lake. That is the requirement what has been given to you. Now they will design, right? You cannot take flag post which you can put it on land. You cannot go and put it in sea because it will become rusted. It will rust. So you need to have a proper design. You need to have material, proper material kind of stuff, and then you will decide what material to use, how much will be the weight, everything. You will do the design. Then you implement. Then you test it. You see whether it is rusting. You might take some sample. You might put it in water. You see whether it is rusting or not. Once it is all clear, you go and put it in the middle of the lake. That is installation. Then you maintain it, right? You might do painting. You might change the flag. You might bring down the flag. There could be a rope which takes the flag up and down that you need to maintain. There will be a small wheel which could help you in moving the rope easily. All those things are maintenance. So waterfall model. A software application can be developed using waterfall model. In waterfall model, all your requirements and all other details need to be given upfront. Example is construction of a house. Okay. What is the, observe this diagram. Observe this diagram very carefully. We will discuss this. You have a boat. Okay. Something is happening to the boat. Okay. Plan, build, test, launch. I'll give 30 seconds. Please go through the diagram. Attention to details. That is what I was told in my first job. Attention to details is very important. Otherwise, you will miss out on many things. Okay, let me see. There looks like some chat messages there. Let me open the chat because this is hidden. I couldn't read it. So Shailaja, I think this session is already being recorded, right? Any doubts? Yeah, this is being recorded. I think it's an old question, but I'm just seeing it now. Sorry. Okay, good. Yeah, yes, without testing, we cannot say about quality. In process stage, we plan as per the customer requirement. Correct. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, attention to details. If you see the water here, right, it is in a single line or it is flowing in a normal state, flat flow. So the boat is being designed for flat flow. But actually, what happened when they went and implemented it? There was steep falls or whatever you want to call it. What happened? The boat broke because this boat was not designed for this kind of a water flow. It was designed for a flat flow, right? Not on the rocky waters. So what happened? How do we chart our entire course if we don't know what's ahead? Plan. Then whatever happened, just keep paddling. He's telling, don't worry, just keep moving. No. I wish we had designed for this scenario up front. That means the requirement was not given correctly here, saying that this boat has to be ready to withstand the impact of a small change in the water flow current or water current. The current could take it very fast in some places. There could be little here and then variation in the water flow. There could be a little bit of rocks, right? I wish we are designed for this scenario upfront. Patch it best we can. No time to change course now. So they are going with great difficulty. Looks like the boat has been reversed or something like that. This is the launch. What happens in this case? It will be a failure. It will fail. Slowly it will fail. Within months, within weeks, it will fail. Clear? So waterfall means everything known success. If you change in the middle, no success. Okay, waterfall strengths. Easy to understand, easy to use, provide structure to inexperienced staff. Everything is written there. Every day morning you have to go and do that. Okay. That is what is written there. Milestones are well understood. Milestone means what? When we have to finish what? Okay. Sets requirement, stability. Requirement is not going to change. So you can plan your resources. There is no need to dynamically allocate resources. You plan a house. There is no change. Exactly, I know when I need which guy in the house. Okay. Works well when quality is more important than cost or schedule. It will take time. Okay. Deficiencies. All requirements must be known upfront. Deliverables created for each phase are considered frozen. That means once you finish, you cannot go back. Once you put roofing, you cannot go and change your foundation. I construct a house, I put 3 feet foundation, I go up to ground floor roof. After I put the ground floor roof, I think that I want to construct one more floor. Then I will ask the engineer, please go and extend the foundation. It is not possible. Okay, so all requirements have to be known in advance. Can give a false impression of progress. See, because this project is very long term, right? So it can also think, hey, we are working. One day the person who is working may quit the organization and go. There is no intermediate check. Does not reflect problem solving nature of software development. Iterations of phase, will come to this. Okay. Little opportunity for customer to preview the system. Suppose if the bridge is being constructed, will you be able to go and see intermediate how the bridge is going to come? No, only after the bridge is completed, you will know that this bridge looks like this. So as an alternate, what came? See, it's an evolution. It's an evolution of how software projects are being developed. Then they shifted to V model. That is like 10 years back. Maybe this waterfall model was there 20 years back. They shifted to V-shaped SDLC model, software development life cycle model. A variant of the waterfall that emphasizes the verification and validation of the product. So project requirements was getting ready. At the same time, they were planning how to do production and operation. When requirements are getting ready, they are talking about acceptance. How do we certify this? So like that, they divided the life cycle into two, where they do preparatory activities. So these are all preparatory activities. Once coding is done, you will do. See, this is an interview question. Okay. Now in this SDLC, let's take by example, it takes 100 days. Okay, they will ask you in V model how much it takes. You will say, because this is half, you will say 50 days. Waterfall model take 100 days. You are telling V model, you are doing parallel activities. Okay, then you are saying it will take 50 days. Is that correct? Because you are doing many things, preparatory activities you are doing here, no? Seeing the requirement, you are doing this activity, seeing this, you are preparing this, seeing this, you are preparing this. How many of you think that If waterfall takes 100 days, V model will take 50 days. Hmm? Tell me. Understanding? What do you say? T? 50. This is not true. Because here agree that you are preparing the activities, but it doesn't necessarily means it will be divided by 2. You will reduce some time, but not exactly by half. Clear to everybody? In V-shaped model, what will happen is when the requirements is getting ready, they will be thinking how to maintain, how to plan the production. In this case, they'll be thinking about how to certify, system acceptance testing, how to certify. Okay. In this case, they will not do all those activities till the implementation is complete. Only after this is done, they will do these steps, one after the other, sequential. Okay. V-shaped strength. So what is a V-shaped strength? Emphasize planning for verification and validation. We'll come to verification and validation later. Each deliverable must be testable. Project management can track progress by milestones, easy to use. Okay. What is the weakness? It is not easy to handle concurrent events, two activities, right? If you are going into an exam, can you write both the exams same time? No, right? So, does not handle iterations or phases. That means you cannot slowly change little bit. No, you cannot change. Does not handle dynamic changes. Does not contain risk analysis activities. V-shaped weakness. Interview question. So, if waterfall takes 100 days, V-shaped V model will take 50 days. Wrong answer. It might take 70 days or 80 days, but not exactly half or less than half. So what are we discussing here? We are discussing here application development. How can a software application, how can a web application be developed? One is define all requirements, then design, then implement, then test it. Another way is define requirements, parallelly run, do some of the activities. When you are doing solutioning, do some of the other activities. Right? When you're putting the foundation, what you can do is you can also plan to order bricks. You can also plan to bring in cement to the location. Right? When you're building the wall, you cannot put a roof. That is not a parallel activity. After the wall, you put a roof. That is sequential activity. After you put the roof, you can do flooring. When you're doing the walls, you can do flooring. You understand what I'm saying? Wall construction, flooring can happen in parallel. Wall construction and roof cannot happen in parallel. Roof and floor cannot happen in parallel. So there are certain activities that can happen in parallel. There are certain activities that needs to be done in a sequential manner. Is it clear to everybody? Clear?
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So the
Tell
third
me.
point you mentioning, it does not handle dynamic changes. As you mentioned, there are some portions which can happen parallelly. So such those cases, so this
Yeah.
dynamically can be done, no? Like especially
No, these are all, if there are 8 tasks, right?
Hmm.
In these 8 tasks, the tasks can happen in parallel. Not the requirement change.
Okay. Only requirement changes cannot be done dynamically.
Yes, I mean, what we are saying is, I'll show you on Excel. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me open an Excel. One second, I'm opening my Excel. Okay. See, in the waterfall model, what will happen is requirements. Okay, design, implement, test, install, maintain. Correct? Now I'll use two important terms, which is out of the software testing, but okay, finish to start. Okay, this is called in project management terms, it is called F2S. Finish to start means only when this activity is complete, then you can do this. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now F2S, finish to start -1. What do you understand by this? Or if this is confusing, I'll put it in the other way. Okay. 1 hyphen finish to start. That means what? If the first activity is complete, then only the design can start. Okay. 2 F2S. So what is it? 2 F2S means?
Design, unless the design is not blocked, we cannot move to the implementation.
After completion of design, we have to start the implementation.
Okay, correct. So in the waterfall model, what is going to happen is like this. 3 F2S, 4 F2S, 5 F2S. Finish to start. But in the case of V model, okay. In the case of V model, requirements will finish. When the requirements will finish, what will happen? You can start working on how you plan to maintain. When you say maintain, it will not actual work on maintenance. No, I will do one thing. I'll just paste it here. Requirements, design, implement. Okay. Test preparations. Installation preparations. Maintenance preparations. Okay. And then test, install. Okay. And then maintain. So now what is that can happen in parallel? Now can you tell me? So this is V model. Okay. Clear to everybody? You'll have to tell me whether you're understanding or not, because I'm not able to see all of you in this thing list to call out names. In the V model, requirements will start, correct? This is the first step. Once the requirement is done, this will 1 F2S, correct? Design will start after the first item is complete, correct? Now, what is the difference between this one and this one? 1 F2S. Here, you can also plan maintenance activities. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir. Getting.
So once you start implementing, if you want to implement, design has to finish 2 F2S. But at the same time, whatever the testing we need to do, that also can start. This is what it means. Test preparations, sorry. Test preparations can start as soon as the design, whatever test, install, maintain. So 1 F2S, 1 second. Okay, maintenance preparation, then installation preparation, then test preparations. You're getting one after the other, you can parallel run it. After all these preparations are done, right? Then you will do actual installation. So once, let's take for example, 3 implementation, 2 F2S. These are the potential activities that we can do. Okay. Now here what will happen is actually here there is one item which is missing. That's why it might be confusing for you. Requirements, design, implement, test preparations, installation, maintenance. Correct? Then test, install. Then you have something called unit testing here. If you see the V model, right? I have not put it here. That coding. This coding is missing in the thing. That's why you will get confused. Okay, when project requirements are done, production, operations, and maintenance can be started. Okay, in this example is different from what is there in the slide. So don't get confused. Okay. Now test preparation happen, maintenance, then actually you will do the testing. When will you do the testing? After the implementation. So 3 F2S. Okay, 7 F2S. Can anybody explain me this? 8 F2S. Clear to everybody? So let me make it more friendly for you. Okay, requirements. When the requirements is done, you go to design. After design is done, you will go to implement. Okay, then maybe coding, unit testing, okay, then UAT, user acceptance testing, production, deployment. This could be another scenario. Okay. Now in this case, what happens? Whatever the preparatory activities are there for these 3 things, ideally this will take in waterfall model, right? This will take 10 days. This will take 20 days. This will take 40 days. This will take 50 days. Example. Okay, this will take 10 days. This may take 15 days, 12 days, 5 days. Now, in the waterfall model, what is the total days required? Sum of this. Confusing or is it clear? Sum of these things is what you require in 160 days is what you require in waterfall model. In the V model, what will happen is the testing is required 15 days, but 5 days of activity can happen here itself. Production deployment, preparations. See, production deployment, preparations can happen as soon as requirement is done. So if it takes 5 days, 2 days can be spent in parallel to this. UAT requires 12 days. So UAT preparations. This requires 12 days. So I am preparing within 4 days of UAT preparations can be taken when the design is happening. Now one question is there, is the effort going to take more or less? What is effort? Quickly.
It will be very less compared to the water model, sir. But while designing is happening, how can we say that the UAT preparation? Because
I'll answer that question. Everybody think about it. Okay, what is the difference between effort and schedule? I'm introducing new concept. Effort required to do certain activities, whether waterfall model or V model, will be same. Only the schedule will shorten. See, let's go to the next page. Okay, I need to build a wall. The wall takes 10 days. I need to build 4 walls. What is the effort required? 1 wall takes 10 days. 10 days, 1 person. Okay. I'll assume here 1 person. Okay, don't get confused here. 1 person. 1 wall takes how many days? 10 days. 4 walls takes 40 days. Clear? Any simple mathematics? One wall takes 10 days, 4 walls takes 40. Simple. Now, what is this thing? Okay. Now, if suppose 4 people will work, what is the effort required?
1 day. 1 day, sir.
No, when 4 people will for all the walls. For all the walls, if 4 people
Okay,
will
okay.
work, what is the effort required?
Okay, okay. For
Effort is same. 1 wall takes 10, 4 walls take 40. 1 person. If 4 person will work, 4 walls will take. Effort is same. Schedule is schedule. Schedule means what? You might not have heard this word schedule. Some of you might not have heard. Schedule means calendar days. Okay, now I'll see the calendar. I'm opening my calendar on my mobile. And if somebody will start constructing the wall on 23rd, okay, it will get over on when? April is having 30 days. So simple calculation. On 2nd of April, it will get completed. Then 3rd of April, you will start the next wall, correct? But here, if 4 walls are going to be constructed by 4 people, within 2nd April, all the 4 walls will get constructed.
yes.
So this is schedule. What will difference between V model and waterfall model? The effort remains same, but the schedule shortens. Clear to everybody? Very, very important question. Effort versus schedule. You will face this problem when working on project. And let's take this example. Okay, what if 100 people will work on the wall construction? If 4 people will work, it takes 10 days. If 8 people will work, it takes 5 days. If 16 people will work in 2.5 days, you are constructing the wall. If I make it 32 people, 1.25. Theoretically, yes, possible. Not always this will work. Just because you put more people, there is a limit, there is a threshold below which you cannot bring down the schedule. Suppose if there is a dish you need to prepare, it takes 2 hours. If 2 people is put, you may finish it in 1 hour. But if you put 10 people, can you finish it in 10 minutes? Possible? No, right? Yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, so strength of the V shape. Emphasizing planning for verification. Planning, if the will work be testable, those things are there. But you are clear, right? The effort will be the same. The schedule will be brought down in V model. Now you may be wondering, hey, where are we, man? I came to learn software testing. Your software testing approach will change based on the project development model. That is why I'm trying to explain here. I don't want to assume you know something. The projects can be developed in waterfall model, V model, agile. In each of these cases, the approach to testing changes. If you are building a house on a desert, your strategy is different. If you're building the house in a marshy area or a watery area, it's different. If you're building a house on a rock, it's different. If you're building the house on a normal plateau, it is different. You cannot take the same plan and build a house in different terrain. If there is snowfall, then the house design has to be different. If there is storm, like in desert, your house design must be different. You would have seen people also wearing different dresses, right? If you go to Rajasthan or somewhere, the people wear different kind of attire because of the weather conditions, because of the other situations like sandstorm, desert, arid zone, so many other things. If you go to Himachal Pradesh where there is snow or something, if you go to Jammu Kashmir where there could be snow, you cannot wear the Rajasthan dress there. Right? Same thing with our food habits. If you are located to a seashore, the food habits are different. If you are located inland, your food habits are different. If you are located in a hot place, your food habits are different. So like that, your software testing strategy changes based on your application development mode or model. Clear? Is it clear to everybody? Okay. See, when to use V model, excellent choice for systems requiring high reliability. Hospital patient control systems, all requirements are known upfront. When it can be modified to handle changing from beyond analysis phase. Okay, solution and technology are known. If it's dynamic, you cannot build it. Okay, now next comes application development in Scrum model. Okay, so Vinod, Vijay, are you there? Vivek, Vijay.
Hey, Chuck, Vivek here.
Yeah, Vivek, you want to
Definitely,
take
I'll
over? Yeah,
sure. Thank you.
thank you.
So, so I think what Chuck has spoken over now is the typical software development life cycle, right? So you have plenty of models available, right from 1970s, right? You know, when the actual software came in, you would have heard about waterfall, right? So waterfall purely talks about the sequential, and after that, it come up with iterative, right? Because people wanted to go step by step, so they moved from waterfall to iterative, and in between there were a lot of models that came in. So if you are a computer science person, you would have read it in software engineering book. There are models like rapid application development model. There are models like spiral model, but that never actually attracted the software industry, right? So after waterfall model, lot of people spoke about iterative, incremental and iterative. And after that, IBM came up with a model called RUP, a rational unified process, right? So it is a model after waterfall. It is a model before agile, because it is a refined iterative and incremental model. So what they taught in RUP, because that's where IBM started yielding attraction in the way they develop software product, right? So RUP talks about 5 stage of involvement. The first stage is the starting stage. They call it as an inception. So what is that they do in inception? They will create the objective, they will create the purpose, they will create the model in which operating principle has to be governed. So that concept they will create in something called inception. Then they have something called elaboration. So in elaboration, what they will do, they talk about all documentation. I think if you go back 4 or 5 slides before, Chuck has spoken about in the beginning. Chuck, I think in the quality slide. Can you go to quality slide? Yeah, please stand here. Yeah. So I think Chuck pointed about 2 important principles of quality, right? One is quality of design, and another one is called quality of conformance. So while Chuck gave a lot of examples about quality of design and quality of conformance, these 2 parameter, you need to assume that quality of design talks about verification, right? So what does it mean? That when you develop your application, right, you need to ensure that this is what my goal of my system. These are all the components that I will be building, and every component need to be articulated, right? So let's assume that you are building a web application, and in that web application you have 4 web pages you plan to design. Okay, and one of the core implementation of the website that you are building is to have a login page, right? So the login page is one of the requirement that you will be handling. And after that, you have something called product, or you can say, the list of product that you are planning to sell. And then you can have one more page where you will be able to filter your products with respect to various parameters, right? What are your parameters? You can, filter it with respect to, low cost to high cost, filter it with respect to certain category, right? And then, finally, let's assume that, you're building one more page called payment page, where you are trying to attract the customer by selling it, where you give an option where the customer will be able to pay using online, right? So look at this as an example. So in RUP, the inception talks about setting up your entire groundwork. Elaboration talks about how are you detailing each of your components. So your end-to-end documentation is called as an elaboration, right? So in quality of design, that we call it as a verification. What we will do is, like, we ensure that you define your requirements, and that requirements is appropriately understood by the development community, and at every stage we added appropriate documentation. So this entire one slanting side of the we call it as a verification. Now, next to elaboration, we call next phase as construction in RUP. What does it mean? Now I have defined what I need to build in with particular site, right? Theoretically, I've added certain things. Now, how do I able to convert my theoretical stuff into practical? So that's where people do a feasibility analysis, and then they come up with something called architecture, right? In that architecture, they will say, I am going to build a system which will be built using Java, or which will be built using .NET, or which will be used using any of the content management system, or it may use your artificial intelligence, or you may try to build a Python based platform, right? So that is called construction, right? Then what we do so once we define everything, we start going into the actual measurement phase, where we do test and measure the quality of the outcome, right? So that we call it as a transition phase. So what we will do in transition phase, we actually validate the application and ensure whatever you define theoretically, we are able to measure. That's called transition. And once transition is over, what we will do, we will go to market, we will deploy it to people, and we will give it to the end user, where people will be able to measure, right? And that piece is called quality of conformance. So what is it quality of confirmation called? Quality of conformance is called as validation, right? So I have designed my a web portal where I will create a online let's say that boutique sales, where I will make my people visit to my platform, where I will give them a unique experience of choosing their own cloth, and I will enable them to pay everything smoothly. Okay, and I will give it to people for give me feedback, right? And when I do that, quality of confirmation will tell me whatever I intended to do, whether it met my expectation, is called quality of conformance, right? So in this phase, what we will do, we will take feedback, and there will be end users who will say that they will say that I didn't like this particular thing. Can you bring something intuitively, right? So we gather feedback, and what we will do feedback with that feedback, we re-engineer this entire application into the next phase. We call this entire concept as evolution, right? So you have something called inception, then you have something called elaboration, then you have something called construction, then you have something called transition. And once you hear all the feedback, you try to explore the application into the next level. We call this as an evolution. So the same concept of RUP, we have taken it in the form of agile, where what we do, that feedback that in agile we call it as a retrospective, and the evolution that we do, right, it is called increments, right? Chuck, can you go back to agile thing? Can you go to this agile slide? Yes. So till the time we spoke about waterfall or iterative or even RUP, you will not be able to see any working prototype within very short time frame, right? But now everybody wanted to be on rapid phase, right? Meaning that they wanted to see, they wanted to visualize something that we are building it, and they want to measure whatever we are building will make sense or not. So in order to break that myth, right, so people moved away from the rigid concept of waiting for 1 month, waiting for 6 months, or waiting for 1 year sort of releases, right? They moved into something called rapid development. That formation is called agile, right? So in agile, there are multiple methodologies that are available. So the famous methodology that everyone follows and preaches, it is called Scrum, right? Apart from this, you have something called extreme programming. You have something called discipline agile. So there is a framework called DAD, right? So there are a lot of frameworks or methodology that is available within agile. But the most famous framework that everybody uses is called Scrum. So whatever you see in this particular presentation, right? So this is what agile framework talks about. So what does it mean? That we create a set of backlogs. So what are these backlogs? These backlogs are called as your stories, right? And then all the building blocks you will write in the form of stories, and then you will put it under backlog. And then your product owner, they will come in, and then they will figure out what are some of the important building blocks that we need to take it, and they will create those things as important priority. So there is a concept called MOSCOW, Moscow. What does it mean? Must have, should have, and could have requirements, right? So they will look at your use cases, and then they will take what are some of the prioritized thing that I need to consider as an important priority, and then they will push it for your development team, and then development team will define. So here in your I think Chuck spoke about list of roles that is available in IT, right? So when it comes to agile, they try to squeeze lot of roles into very methodological way of defining it. So you have somebody called Scrum Master who will own this entire journey, and they will be the one who will be sorting out all your problems, your challenges, your roadblocks, and everything. And then this entire product will be sponsored by your product management team, and every product will have a product owner who will take a call on the prioritization. And then the third role, you have something called the team. So the team includes your engineering team, the team includes your development team, the team includes your testing team, or your release management team, right? So depending upon org to org, typically the Scrum timeline, they take a call that they will go for a 3-week window or a 2-week window, and they will take something that the team can chew, right? For example, if I have a team of 8 members, I will be able to take close to some 8 to 10 requirements, and then I will identify out of 10 requirements what are my must-haves, what are my could-haves, right? My P1 and P2, and then every story is based on the importance of that particular feature. They will define something called story points, and then they will take it into that timeline, and every team will take that as a goal for the 2-week or 3-week interval, and they will come on to floor every day, and they will initiate something called daily stand-up, right? So what they will do, typically the team who is going to take up, right, they will come and talk about what are the plan that they have for that particular day, and what are some of the continuation that they are going to do, right? So they will take a call every day, and every day there will be a measurement. So you heard about for whole journey of agile, right? So typically we need to have something called as storyboards. So you have your Jira software, which will have your storyboard, where you will be able to define your user story. You'll be able to measure how teams are aligned on day by day, right? So every software tool, right? Be it ALM or be it Jira or any other tools, they have all these things by default integrated. So if you work in a sophisticated industry, right, for release planning itself, they have tools. So you would have heard about something called Jira. On top of Jira, there is some software called AHA. AHA will be able to define all your high-level release plans. You will be able to define everything. So using sophisticated tool like Jira, you can create your end-to-end, you can create end-to-end release, you can create end-to-end stories, you can create end-to-end test cases. So your complete traceability, you will be able to define, you will be able to plan, you will be able to measure. So at the end of 2 week or 3 week, we will be able to demonstrate something called an output, and that output will be measurable. So far in waterfall or iterative, what we told, we tell them that, okay, this week we will be able to prepare FRS, but FRS is just a documentation. You will not be able to see or visualize what is that you are going to build out, right? But in Agile, within the 2 week or 3 week interval, you will be able to see, be it a prototype or be it a working model, you will be able to visually see, okay, some application may not have an integration on week 1 or in week 2, but you will be able to see that this is what the information that we have decided to take up in this current sprint. And at the end of the sprint 1, I will be able to see that, I am able to give something where I will be able to measure, right? So coming to advantages. So again, when it comes to Agile, we are going to touch base only about Scrum, because this is what 90% of the industry popularly adopts, because this is something called time boxed, right? So I think Chuck, I think you need to elaborate the pyramid called scope, time, and cost. You have already hinted 2-3 times. So you always need to understand that, your scope, your time, and cost. Whenever it comes to any methodology, you need to take STC as your parameter, right? So here in your Agile, you will be able to define your scope, but here the time will be fixed, right? Because you will have to deliver within the 2 week or 3 week interval, you need to deliver, right? And every week, based on your org funding, you will be having that, this is what the cost I will be able to consume. Based on that, you will be able to allocate 2 or 4 or 5 people required for that particular project, right? So this method, we call it as a lightweight method, where there is a clear visibility, right? You define your stories in your backlog, but you will clearly say, with 6 people, I will be able to take only 3 things because I'm measuring outcome in a short sprint, right? And at the end of it, what I'm trying to do, I will be demonstrating that output, and as part of that output, I will be able to get the feedback, and that feedback will be able to tell me what additional changes that I need to build in, so that I will be able to shape up my software on a continuous basis. So this is called continuous improvement methodology, right? Can you move to the next slide? Yes. So in this model, what we try to do, as I mentioned in the beginning, right? So every day the team will meet for about 10-15 minutes. There are teams who preaches Agile in a wrong way, but typical thing would be like, you need to brief very shortly that what are the list of activities that you have it in hand, what is that you are going to achieve today, and what are some of the roadblocks that you have, and you need to help from whom. If you call out, Scrum Master will be able to identify your roadblocks, and he will be able to push the impediments that is required to solve your problem, right? And coming to some of the disadvantages, see, in many places it will be more of an advantage, but there are people who wanted to go it in a very aggressive way, right? So I think Chuck gave certain analogy, right? If you want to achieve something within 1 week, adding 5 people, 7 people, you will not be able to do that with the help of Agile, because you will be having a time box, you will be having with a minimal team, and the team need to have a very good knowledge on the application that you are working on, right? So this works for a very smaller group, and you will be able to do it a lot of iterations with chunks. So typically, if you are involved in architectural migration, microservices sort of an application, Scrum will be of very, very useful. But if you're trying to bring a monolithic sort of an application, this may not be a right methodology to adopt, right? And with Scrum, right, what you need is like, you need to have a mix of team members, right? You need to have people with different roles. You need to have people with mixed competency. You will not be able to drive everything with freshers or with team member who is new to the system, right? So that's some of the disadvantage over here, right? And another thing here, it's all about how you manage it, right? Finally, you can do a lot of things, but it's all about within that particular time how you should be able to run, right? So if you really have a very good scrum master, if you have a very good team, and if you're able to time box it, this entire scrum model will be of advantage. Or if you try to go deep dive for everything, you are compromising on your timeline, and that may not be the right option for you, right? And another thing we spoke about, we are working in a time box interval with a fixed team, right? If anybody gives surprises for about 2 or 3 days, right, there will be an impact on your effort, right? Because you are running a project with a 4-member team. Suddenly, if 2-member team goes for a leave, either with a planned leave or an unplanned leave, that will have a huge inverse effect on your entire planning, right? So that's very much important thing over here. And main thing over here is like this entire scrum, right? You will not be able to achieve quality right from week 1. This will go for an evolution. Once you are able to evolve for about a week or 2 weeks, right? You will be able to bring best, good to great, great to best, best to better sort of a thing, right? And another thing that you have to focus here is like this is a continuous evolvement, right? So a lot of emphasis has to get in for you to measure the usage of Scrum. So any questions here on the Scrum's side of it that we spoke?
Yeah, see, the one of the important things that you need to notice, suppose in the case of waterfall model or V model, we are doing X number of functionalities. It doesn't mean that in 2 weeks, the same amount of functionality will be there. We are just breaking it into smaller components and then achieving the goals. You're getting it right. So let me go back to this example. Okay, let me go back to this website example. So if we are doing this Kismet website, or maybe for that matter Jelly Belly, what we saw, right? Now in the waterfall model, what would have happened is they will take 6 months to 1 year, build everything and then show you something. But in Agile, what will happen is they'll go create this first page, products page, then they will show it to you. After that, they will go and create the 6th edition page. After that, they will go create, but for the end user or the customer, as and when one page is done, you will be able to see it and give recommendations or changes. Simple, okay, you go to a restaurant, you order 10 dishes. In the waterfall model, what will happen is, or in the V model, all the 10 dishes will come in one shot to your table. That is waterfall model or V model. In the case of Agile, as and when the dish is prepared, it will be coming to your table. It is the simplest way to understand Agile. Is that clear? Now take for example, you are ordering roti and some curry. Okay. Now, if you only roti will come, you will not be able to eat. If curry will come first, you will not be able to eat. In this case, roti and curry both have to come. Okay. So there could be still dependency between functionalities in the application. However, whatever you order, 10 things will not come at the same time. At the same time, you also may have option. First, you will order one dish, it will come, then you will order second dish. And what is the other possibility? You will order one dish, before it comes, you order second dish, so that the first dish will come, then you go and get second dish within a span of 10 minutes interval or 15 minutes interval. So I'm trying to give you an analogy because some of you might not have seen what happens within the IT organization. So when we say Scrum, here 3 weeks, 4 weeks, in 3 weeks, they will develop one page, show it to you. Next 3 weeks, they will develop second and third page. Next 3 weeks, they will develop. So people will be able to see what is the progress that's happening. Instead of waiting for 1 year, then they will come and show you something for the first time. That's not the way it works. Okay, clear? We already passed 3 minutes. So I know some of you are sitting for a very long time. If we do not have any questions, we'll stop here. I thought of doing one small exercise, but I think we will start that exercise from next Sunday, same time. We will meet. We will start with some exercises so that even you will be active in the session instead of listen only mode. Okay. Thank you very much for attending this session. I will upload the recording. I'll share the link to the recording. Also, this recording, I'll try to break it up and then post it in YouTube. You can share it with your friends. And yeah, I think all of you are excited about what you are learning, kind of stuff. Do please send an email in terms of feedback. So if any corrections are there, we can make, and then make sure that the final end result of these sessions are meaningful to all of us. Okay. Thank you very much. If you don't have any questions, if you have any questions, you can ask now itself, or you can send an email. Yeah, Shailaja, you had something?
Yeah, one question regarding the Scrum. So once considering that I have in the third phase, first and second are freezed, but in case something is need to be changed in the second and first phase, during in a third phase when we are in the development or testing, so the customer cannot give any kind of changes, right? That is also one drawback in the
No,
Scrum.
so Shailaja, here let's assume simple black and white terms. I'll explain to you. Okay. In the waterfall model, you have 100-page requirement document. In Agile, what will happen is you will start with 2 pages. You will do all the cycles. See, in the Agile model, what happens is instead of taking 100 pages, right? You will take 2-page requirement document. 1 second. Oh, sorry, I'm just scrolling it. Yeah. So 1 second. Okay. So in this case, what happens is you are having requirement, design, implementation, test, installation, maintenance. 100-page document used to go through requirement. So here what is happening in Agile is 2 pages, 2-page requirement, design for the 2-page, implement 2-page, test it, install, show it. Now next page number 3, 4, again, second iteration. Page number 5 and 6, third iteration, like that. Whatever changes is there, he can tell it for the 5th and 6th page. Previously, that option was not available, no?
Yeah, that's what we'll once it is freeze, that's all, we'll be moving on to the next. So
In the waterfall model. So in the waterfall model, also your requirements is coming in one bulk state. But in Agile, nobody is picking that big requirement. They will take only small requirement. They will implement small implementation, show it to you, and then release it.
okay.
You're getting it right?
Yeah, I got it. But is there any such case you faced in your career, like once it is freezed, if they are coming back and saying that we can, is there a facility also available in a Scrum? That's what.
No, see, so when we say facility, right? If I am the customer, if I am the sponsor, see, that's why I put this, right? Now, if I am the sponsor, right? We went to this model, right? Who are all the people involved in the IT project?
Okay.
So if something is already built, see, suppose I construct a wall and then I say I don't want a wall, what will happen? He will come and break. He will charge you for breaking it. He will charge you again for building a new wall, right? The same thing happens in IT projects. If something is constructed, finalized, then somebody will come and say no. Then they will say, okay, we will remove this, we will change it, but they will charge you for that.
Okay, that's okay, got it.
You can do any number of changes.
Yeah.
You can do any number of things, but every time you come up with a change, they will charge you. So end of the day, you would have spent thousands of dollars, but there is no output in the web application or the application what you're designing. That's where we will end up. Then it is not good for anybody, right? Then the sponsor will ask you this question. I spent $10,000, but I don't see anything changing in my business. Right? See, take for example, this Jelly Belly. I'll go back to Jelly Belly again. Jelly Belly will come and keep changing it. Their application will not be ready for end user to see it. Then obviously their sales will not increase because of this website. So if Jelly Belly will come and say, my sales has not improved after the website, then I will say you keep changing the website. So that's why your sales is not improving, because the website itself is not available to the end user.
Got it,
right?
sir. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. We will meet next Sunday, 10:30 to 12:30. Don't miss. Please call your friends also. I see some people joined and dropped out. Not sure if they have any internet problem or anything like that. But having said that, yeah, I think next to 2 sessions also is very important. See, nobody will teach you about these models. Okay. This is a very important thing. First thing is people will not know what is difference between IT and ITES. People will not know different models. Your testing should match your model. You cannot implement a waterfall testing strategy on Agile. You're getting it, right? So, you have learned a very important thing. Go through the recording. I'll try to edit some of the places where there could be a little bit of here and there repetition. But having said that, I think